Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Leverett Ball Show. And on this episode, I am joined by Scott Sanderson. And Love is Blind fans, you likely remember this guy well. He was on season 8 of the show in Minnesota, and he's nice enough to join us via Zoom today. And Scott, are you in Minnesota at the moment, or where are you these days?
I am in Minnesota, man, and thanks for having me. This is gonna be a blast and like a true conversation of Minnesota. You start with the weather. We got our first little like chill in the air here these
Hmm.
past few days, so it's football season, man. Let's crank it up.
Nice. Yeah, it's funny because like I live here in the Boston area and it's chilly in Boston. Boston definitely does not have great weather, although maybe Minnesota is a little bit colder. I mean,
I think I
maybe
saw some 40 degrees in the temperatures like later this weekend,
yeah.
so it's a rude awakening.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm not going to get much compassion from you about the cold weather in Boston because you also freeze your ass off every day. I don't know. We both need to move to like Miami or somewhere. But yeah, but I mean, obviously I mentioned you were on season 8, the most recent season in Minnesota. And I mean, I've had several Love is Blind people on the show, but I've had two people from that season on the show. I had Joey Levier and also Tom Dan. So you're following in some elite footsteps. I mean, what was that whole experience like?
Very elite footsteps. That's funny. Yeah, they are two some of my closest friends, and actually getting on the plane to go film in the pods in Los Angeles, getting in line in the plane, like you really don't know who's on the cast, but you're kind of looking for young professionals that are around my age. And here I am in line, and I have Tom Dan, who is 6'4", 240, right in front of me, and Joey right behind me, who's 6'2", 220. And I'm just thinking, man, I hope Love is Blind because these are some good looking cats.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so yeah, right off the gates, I was like, all right, this is real. We're gonna have to step up our game a little bit though. But man, Love is Blind. It was a ride. I really enjoyed doing it. And it's kind of cool now being a year and a half removed from filming it. I think we're like 6 or 7 months removed from it coming out. So this is cool to kind of reflect and go back on it. I mean, now I'm able to say I had an amazing experience. I'm so thankful for everything that's happened, even during the pods, outside of the pods, and then the friendships that you get out of it are just unmatched. And right away, you're bonded by this crazy thing you did. But then as that evolves, you're just genuine friends. So I am just incredibly thankful for that.
Well, and it's, I guess, maybe an odd comparison, but maybe kind of like a college sports team where like you only have 4 years of eligibility to play your college sport, but a lot of teammates remain friends for life. It's like even after you're off the show, you still maintain those friendships. Like you mentioned, and it's funny because on that season there was only one couple that ended up getting married, and I mean, do you have any regrets about maybe? You could have had a stronger relationship with a specific person, or do you more feel along the lines of like no one was the right fit for you?
Yeah. And now coming out of it, like I said, a year and a half later, I look back and I realized my fit wasn't there. But with that said, living in the time, it's really heavy. Like you're preparing yourself mentally. They tell you like 7 or 10 days before you go, like, all right, you're gonna go, you're gonna do this thing. And you just think, all right, I gotta start like mentally preparing for this, where I might meet my wife here in a few weeks. And then but the next time I see my friends and family, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna be engaged. So it's a really heavy thing to do. But now looking back, and leaving the pods, you referenced our golden couple, Daniel and Taylor. They are, I love when people ask, are they like that in person? And they absolutely are. And they become two of my closest friends as well. And thinking of like connections that I had in the pods, my last day in the pods was actually with Taylor. And it's a really special memory that I have because I'm in this date with Taylor. It's my last date of the day, and we kind of realize like, hey, we're probably not going to go to the next step here. And then we kind of have that opportunity to talk about her and Daniel, and listening to her talk about Daniel and just how excited she was of, yeah, I really want to see where this goes, and just how she talked about Daniel. I remember being leaving so genuinely excited for her of that's what we were looking for. That's what we wanted. And then to hear how they carried that through the Honduras trip and coming back home. So I mean, I left that last date extremely grateful. At the same time, it was really hard. It was really heavy. Like, oh shoot, this didn't work out like I'd hoped. I'd really went in there with the expectation of this might be it. Like I might meet my person. This is fantastic, and it just didn't work out that way, which was it was really heavy. I realized, that core cast, the ones that are featured in it, I went through a fraction of what they went through. But then you come out of that situation and you're thinking, shoot, like, am I a failure? Did I mess this up? But you give it nothing but time and reflection. Like, oh no, that worked out exactly how it should have been, and I'm extremely thankful for that.
You're right. And I think also, I mean, you're always better off waiting for someone than you are proposing to the wrong person. So, and it's not like a game show where the goal is to either get married or or you lose the show, or, like on a game show when you have to answer a certain number of questions correctly and there's a clear objective, I mean, and so I think probably, you made the right decision, if you didn't feel a super strong connection with everyone to just, wait until after the show to maybe meet someone new. I mean, also with that in mind, I mean, so, when you're on the show, you can't have your phone or go on social media, but when you finished up with the show, was like every woman in Minnesota DMing you?
No, I wouldn't say that's exactly how it happened. I mean, first off, you can't talk about it for a long time.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, when you come back, it's kind of like a hush hush thing where you're just talking to your close family and really close friends about what happened. Like dating after the show. I mean, this past summer, I've tried to try to get back into the dating game. But you mentioned leaving the show and trying to date after the show. Well, leaving the show, I was disappointed because if you were to look at my story, I think it just would have been a story of a guy who really wanted it to happen, but it just wasn't happening. He couldn't get out of this vulnerability shell that he was in. He was having a really tough time making that deep connection and really just putting it all out there. So when I left the pods, there was another connection that I just thought, oh shoot, like I didn't pursue that like I feel like I should have. So it wasn't regret, more of just oh no, did I miss that opportunity, like you said, of someone that's there for me. And that person was Lauren. And then so when it didn't work out with her about 4 or 5 months after the show, we ran into each other at one of these, big group outings and got to talking and decided to see each other, just us two. And we were able to kind of try that dating experience outside of the show, which I was extremely thankful for. We weren't on this timeline of, hey, you have to get married. We could just do this semi normally and get to know who each other were. So I was extremely thankful for that we got to try this connection that I feel like was a missed connection in the pods, but we got to try it in real life, which I was just so thankful for.
That's awesome. And that's cool also that you got the experience of, dating someone from the show, away from the show and away from the cameras. Because like for example, Tom Dan, when he came on this podcast, he said that sometimes he wasn't always comfortable being himself on the show because he was so aware that the cameras were there.
Right.
And so yeah, maybe it was more natural off the show. But we talked about this before we started recording. Like people who watch these shows, they don't realize that the people on the shows are normal people and have jobs and lives outside of the show. And they don't just like breed the contestants from the show in a lab and then put them, have like clones that they design in a lab, like in Star Wars, and they just throw them on the show. They're real people. And I mean, what has it been like getting back to your regular life and your job and your day-to-day routine since the show?
Right. And for me, I had the sprinkles on the show. I think I have, a couple lines per episode, kind of show me hanging out with the guys, throwing the football around. So coming back, although, it was really difficult to not do the full experiment and really get that connection that I was hoping for. After the show came out, it was really hard watching my really close friends go through some of this. I mean, I knew a lot of the background. I was there with them throughout the year, but then to actually watch it back, it was really hard because they're going through some really heavy stuff, and you think how deep and how hard it was for them. But then it comes out and then they receive this hate and this judgment of what they did or what they're doing now, and it was really hard. So I just found, I mean, for me, my role, I wanted to be as good of a friend to them as they have for me the past year. I wanted to be there for them, support them, because, like I said, it wasn't just the show that brought us together. It was so much more this past year of just generally wishing the best for each other. So trying to get them through that of, hey, we know who you really are, of what's important, but that doesn't delete the comments or delete what people are saying about you, or even when people run into them on the street and say something that they shouldn't. It's reminding them of who they are. And a lot of my friends, they don't need that additional reminder. They're doing really well. But man, those first few months, it was hard to see and it's hard to be a part of.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I feel as also, I mean, if you followed anyone around with a video camera for an extended period of time, there'd be some type of unflattering moment during that stretch. And most people, their unflattering moments aren't exposed to the public, but it is if you're on a reality show. And so I think, honestly, if anyone went on a reality show, there'd be things that random people could hate on. I mean, also, when it comes to reality shows, some people have talked about how they think people get a tough edit and their portrayal on the show is unfair. And I've actually heard it from both sides. I've had Love is Blind people I've talked to on this podcast who have said that they think people they knew from the show got a tough edit and the show made them look worse than they were. I had a different one specific contestant from Love is Blind, not someone from your season, but from a previous season who said that he doesn't believe in a tough edit and that if someone looks bad on the show, that's their own fault and they should take ownership of it. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that reality shows can portray people in a way that's not accurate, or do you think it's more on the person who looks bad on the show to control how they act on the show?
Right. I think it's Netflix. They're fantastic storytellers. That's why they are as successful as they are. So when it comes to the edit, I think it's potential that you get a bad edit, but I also think of it through the storytelling lens of they know what the ending is when they're telling the story. Therefore, if there's going to be this conflict in the end of, a core reason why it's not working out, they're going to go back and review the film of every single time you brought up that instance. And that's all they're going to show is, well, you brought it up here, and then you brought it up in point A, point B, point C. And yeah, I mean, I think of, Dave and I, we're good buddies. And I think of him going through this experience where I will defend Dave, and we are good buddies. He is a great friend to me and a great friend to a lot of people and just a genuinely great person. But I think he recognizes, or at least I recognize, he didn't handle it that well in that moment. So was it the edit, or is it that he treated someone that we all care about really, really well and kind of put her through in a difficult spot? And that was really tough to watch, but they didn't show any of the tough or the happy times, the times that they had a really good time, because they knew that in the end it was going to be these areas that were really, really important and given the fireworks. So let's go back and review every single time that they talked about this item leading up to that climax of that story.
Yeah, and I guess maybe some of the uncomfortable conversations generate better TV ratings than the positive ones. So that's, I guess, what they're gonna put on there. But folks, before we go any further, I just want to let you all know that Delete Me makes it easy, quick, and safe to remove your personal data online at a time when surveillance and data breaches are common enough to make everyone vulnerable. Data brokers make a profit off your data. Your data is a commodity. Anyone on the web can buy your private details. This can lead to identity theft, phishing attempts, and harassment. But now you can protect your privacy with Delete Me. And as someone who values their privacy, the last thing I want is to have my data breached. So I'm really grateful for things like Delete Me that help to protect my privacy when I need to do that. Take control of your data and keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me. Now at a special discount for our listeners. Today, get 20% off your Delete Me plan by texting HIT to 64,000. The only way to get 20% off is to text HIT to 64,000. That's HIT to 64,000. Message and data rates apply. But yeah, we're talking about tough edits in reality shows. It's funny because Tom specifically mentioned that he thought Dave got a tough edit, and like you said, maybe he had moments that he regretted, but they only shared that, and also, I mean, it seemed like Dave, when he apologized to Lauren, he seemed sincere. It seemed like Dave genuinely regretted how he handled things with Lauren. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, I definitely think it's accurate. I think what what he said on the reunion was very telling of how bad he felt for what he put her through. And I think we give Lauren deserves an incredible amount of credit for how she handled everything after the show as well. And um, acknowledging that of both of them kind of acknowledging, hey, that stunk. Like, yes, they had really good times, but the ending of that stunk and what they went through stunk. But it's not going to provide us any benefit or value to just sit here and continue to crap on each other throughout that. So I give them both so much credit for how they've handled, the aftermath of it, of what I feel an absolute, genuine, sincere apology from Day, which I'm so proud of him for that. But then also Lauren to be the person she is, to say, hey, no, I didn't enjoy that, but there's no value in me just sitting here and throwing rocks at you. That's not going to do anybody any good. So I'm so proud of both of them. And yeah, I think they're at a spot now where we see each other as a big group, and we're okay there. So it's ending in a decent spot for them, which I'm so proud of them for it.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. And, I mentioned also how, people on reality shows, have lives off the show and careers. I mean, what have you been up to lately?
Oh man, going back to our Minnesota weather is we get 3 months of summer, and I mean, you got to book it every time that it's nice out. So actually, this past weekend, what we did is we got a group from the guys from the show. So it was Devin, Mason, Tom, and Joey. We packed up the bags and we spent a weekend in South Dakota. So Mason's also a South Dakota native. I grew up on a farm in Flandreau, South Dakota, just an hour north of Sioux Falls. So we went to Sioux Falls for the weekend. My family came up, which is really special that they got to meet these guys that they saw on TV, but also I talk about them a lot because we spend a lot of time together. So we got trips to South Dakota and where we met Mason's friends and Mason's family. So it's kind of a thing with our little group. Wherever we go, we for some reason just get matching shirts. So we had these flannel cutoffs going out, and I think there was some confusion if we were just friends or Chippendale dancers, which who knows, but it was a blast. So yeah, it's buddy's trip. Try to make it home to see the family in South Dakota. Try to get out and play some golf. Just soak in every little bit of summer that we have in Minnesota.
But that sounds like a broverload with all those guys from the show. But and I know you mentioned also before we start recording, you work with a company that designs hearing aids.
Yep.
Or what exactly does your job entail?
Yeah, so I'm in R&D at Starkey Hearing. So it's a hearing aid company just outside of Eden Prairie. I've been doing it for 3.5 years, and truly, I really enjoy it. So we're developing hearing aids, we're developing hearing protection, and I work with brilliant people who really care about what we're doing, which makes going into the office and developing these hearing aids and hearing devices an absolute blast. So I really enjoy it. I'm really thankful for it. They were so supportive of the show of, hey, Sky, go get your girl. And it didn't work out, but I was thankful for them every step of the way.
Well, and that sounds rewarding also, the fact that they're, helping people with their hearing impairments and helping improve their quality of life. That sounds like a very rewarding, fulfilling thing to be involved in. But, for anyone listening, who was a big fan of you on the show, I mean, maybe there's some women listening who are saying, Scott didn't get married on the show, but I'd marry him any day. For any of your big fan club members, where can people follow you on social media? And also, do you ever do any public appearances in Minnesota?
That's right. So I suppose you can follow me on or find me on Instagram. I should say at Scotty underscore 111. So that is available, I guess, for those going that route. But as far as public appearances, I mean, I've been lucky enough to hang out with our group from the show. So there's nothing scheduled right now as far as other public appearances, but we're out and about. They're reaching out to them to do some activate. There's a Live to Give that Daniel Hastings and Taylor are a part of. That's a great charity that we can promote here. And then going back home, I think we talked about it earlier of the growing up on a farm in South Dakota. So there's a nonprofit in South Dakota called Helping Kids Round First, where they try to get baseball and recreation gear down to the kids of Nicaragua. So that's another charity that if you want to reach out and support, that'd be greatly appreciated.
That's awesome. And I mean, I'm a big baseball guy. I used to play college baseball. So that sounds like a charity I'd be very involved in or interested in getting involved in. Baseball was a huge part of my life growing up, so to give that opportunity to more people to be able to play when they're young sounds awesome. And is there a specific place online where people can go to donate to that organization?
It'd be helping kids round first. If you throw that into Google, that should get you in the right spot. But man, I agree with you on the baseball aspect. I played college baseball as well, and when I go home to South Dakota, there the baseball gloves are in the basin. My dad's kind of like, all right, so should we go out and have a catch? I'm like, yep, let's do this till we
Nice.
can't anymore. So it's
And
pretty
you
special.
played at University of South Dakota?
Nope, I played at St. Cloud State, so
St.
it
Cloud
is
State.
an hour north of Minneapolis.
Okay, because I remember that Dave played college baseball as well, and there were a couple of guys on the Minnesota cast who played in college. So, is there any chance there'd be like a Love Is Blind Savannah Bananas team where you guys just go around and like dance and play base? Just an idea. I mean, maybe my idea sucks. Just putting that out there.
We talked about Dave a lot, but I think he might have put a stop to any of those ideas because I'm going to throw him under the bus one more time. A few weeks ago, he was playing softball. You know how guys our age do, and he was rounding
Yeah.
first, and he left his calf on first base and
Oof.
tore it up. So he's really raining on any opportunity that we have to get any sport team
Oh.
together here this next year.
Damn. Damn. Well, and did you or any of the other guys on the show have interest in playing pro, playing after college?
Uh, I I didn't have the career that I wanted to in college, so it wasn't really an opportunity for me. But I mean, yeah, you talk about athletes on the show. I mean, Joey was a pole vaulter in college. Dave played D1 baseball. Ben played D1 baseball. Brian played college football at Northern State. So I mean, there's some guys out there, and I brought a football to the pods because I don't sit still very well. So I was just always kind of just looking around, waiting for someone to say, "Hey, you want to play catch with the football? Let's not talk about relationships. Let's just play catch with the football." Like, yep, I'm ready for that.
And that probably helped to like de-stress when things got tense, tossing the football around. Joey, you mentioned also Joey was a pole vaulter. He also turned down D1 football offers. He could have
Yeah.
played two different sports in college. So I guess there are a bunch of beasts on your season. Also, other than work and some of the philanthropy and some of the different things you're involved in and trips. I mean, the NFL season's right around the corner. Are you a big Vikings fan, and what are your thoughts on the upcoming football season?
You know it. And my thoughts are in KOC we trust, where if he thinks JJ's our guy, he's going to be our guy. So as long as KOC believes in him, I'm going to jump on that bandwagon. But man, the NFC North got really, really difficult here. Not just these past years, but this past few weeks with Micah Parsons going to Green Bay. So whoever comes out on top of NFC North, they are gonna earn it. But let's make it the Vikes.
Absolutely, absolutely, and yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to the NFL season as well. I live here in the Boston area, so everyone here are big Patriots fans. They've ever since Brady and Belichick left, they've gone downhill. So we'll see if they can turn things around.
Let me
But
ask you, is Drake May the guy?
uh, well, so it's funny because they drafted him in the first round. He made the Pro Bowl his rookie year. Things are looking good, but you know who else got drafted in the first round and made the Pro Bowl their rookie year? Mac Jones. And we saw how things went after that. So Mac Jones got off to a good start, and then they ruined him. Let's hope they don't ruin Drake May. Now, granted, Mac Jones was ruined by Belichick because Belichick was still around then, and he kept switching offensive coordinators and changing the offense, and it messed Mac Jones up. Belichick's not around to ruin Drake May, but let's hope that Mike Vrabel doesn't because lots of rookie quarterbacks who are drafted in the first round do badly, but Mac Jones was actually drafted in the first round, killed it his rookie year, made the Pro Bowl, second runner up for like offensive rookie of the year, and now he's basically looking like he's going to be a career backup. So I guess I hope that Drake May doesn't develop Mac Jones disease, but he's off to a good start. So we'll see. But Scott, I really appreciate you coming on the podcast, and I guess my final question, for anyone listening, who looks up to you and enjoys the show, or maybe wants any advice on how to navigate their relationships and how to be the best version of themselves. I'm sure you learned a lot about those things on the show. I mean, what advice would you have for anyone listening?
Yeah, I think the advice I would get is or give I'm sorry, is you almost have to take a risk to get any sort of reward. I struggle to call it a regret of the show, but sometimes I found myself not expressing feelings. Well, that's not a good way to make those connections. So I think, it's easier said than done to be vulnerable, but when you're able to have these conversations, whether it's good, whether it's difficult with your partner, and come out of it feeling that neither one of you is running and that, wow, hey, that was a productive conversation. I think you got something worth holding on to or something worth pursuing. So it's the age old advice of be vulnerable, be honest, be yourself, and that right person's going to be out there for you.
So you mentioned, being honest, being yourself. So you were not telling women on Love Is Blind that you were LeBron James. That was not something you said to try to impress them.
No, that's I didn't have that in my toolbox at the time, and I think that was a very good decision by myself.
At the, moment when you go through the wall and meet, they would have been like, you look different. So you would have eventually gotten caught.
And also, I didn't have a mustache back then, and I'll list that as one of my regrets. It just
Ah,
everything would have changed. I'm certain of it. Everything would have
oh
changed if I
yeah.
wouldn't have had my mustache then.
It's a scientific fact. Mustaches make you more attractive to women. It's just anyone who doesn't believe that doesn't believe in science. But Scott, it's been great having you on the podcast, and everyone definitely give him a follow on social media. And once again, everyone, you have been listening to the Leverett Ball Show.